More than 6 decades have passed since Audrey Hepburn graced our screens in her iconic little black dress. Yet the magic of Breakfast at Tiffany's continues to enchant new generations. However, behind the timeless elegance and romantic charm lies a sobering reality. Every single major cast member of this beloved 1961 classic has now departed this world. From Hollywood legends to character actors who brought depth to every scene, these talented performers created cinematic gold together only for time to claim them all. Their stories remind us that even the most dazzling stars are mortal, leaving only their unforgettable performances as eternal monuments to their artistry. Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn's portrayal of Holly Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's became one of cinema's most iconic performances, transforming her into a timeless symbol of elegance and style. Her delicate interpretation of the free-spirited New York socialite, complete with that unforgettable little black dress and long cigarette holder, created an image that still captivates audiences more than 60 years later. Though author Truman Capote had originally envisioned Marilyn Monroe for the role, Hepburn made Holly uniquely her own, bringing a vulnerable sophistication that perfectly balanced the character's mysterious past with her hopeful dreams. Born Audrey Kathleen Rustin in Brussels, Belgium, on May 4, 1929, Hepburn endured a difficult childhood during World War II, often surviving on little more than bread and water during the Nazi occupation. Her early struggles with malnutrition would affect her health for the rest of her life, but they also gave her a deep empathy for those who suffered. After the war, she moved to London where she worked as a model and chorus girl, before transitioning into small film roles that would eventually lead to her breakthrough. Her career skyrocketed with Roman Holiday in 1953, where she starred opposite Gregory Peck and won an Academy Award for Best Actress on her first nomination. This success led to a string of beloved classics, including Sabrina, My Fair Lady, Charade, and Wait Until Dark, each showcasing her unique ability to combine grace with genuine emotion. She worked frequently with designer Hubert de Givenchy, who created many of her most memorable on-screen looks and became a lifelong friend. In her later years, Hepburn largely stepped away from acting to focus on her work as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, traveling to some of the world's most impoverished regions to help children in need. On January 20, 1993, at the age of 63, she died at her home in Switzerland from a rare form of abdominal cancer. Her final years were spent quietly with her family, having found the peace that had often eluded her during her Hollywood heyday. Audrey Hepburn remains beloved not just for her performances, but for the kindness and humanity she brought to everything she did, proving that true elegance comes from within. George Peppard. George Peppard's performance as Paul Varjak, the struggling writer who becomes Holly Golightly's neighbor and love interest, brought a perfect blend of vulnerability and strength to Breakfast at Tiffany's. His portrayal of a man caught between his artistic dreams and financial dependency on an older woman created a complex character that audiences could both sympathize with and admire. Peppard's natural chemistry with Audrey Hepburn, despite reported tensions during filming, helped make their romance believable and touching, giving the film its emotional heart. Born George William Peppard Jr. on October 1, 1928, in Detroit, Michigan, he initially planned to become an engineer before discovering his passion for acting while serving in the United States Marine Corps. After his military service, he studied drama at Carnegie Mellon University and later at the prestigious Actors Studio in New York, where he learned the method acting techniques that would define his approach to performance throughout his career. Peppard's breakthrough came with Breakfast at Tiffany's, which established him as a leading man in Hollywood and opened doors to major film roles throughout the 1960s. He went on to star in successful movies like The Carpetbaggers, How the West Was Won, and The Blue Max, often playing handsome but slightly dangerous characters who walked the line between hero and anti-hero. However, his most famous role came later in his career when he played Colonel John Hannibal Smith in the hit television series The A-Team from 1983 to 1987, introducing him to a whole new generation of fans who knew him for his cigar-smoking, plan-making team leader. Throughout his life, Hepburn struggled with alcohol and health problems, and his demanding personality sometimes created conflicts with directors and co-stars. On May 8, 1994, at the age of 65, he died from pneumonia at the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles, with his death attributed to complications from lung cancer that had been worsened by years of heavy smoking. George Hepburn left behind a body of work that showcased his range as an actor, from romantic leading man to action hero, proving that true talent can adapt and endure across different decades and genres. Patricia Neal. Patricia Neal's sophisticated portrayal of 2E, the wealthy married woman who keeps Paul Varjak as her companion in Breakfast at Tiffany's, brought a complex mix of elegance, possessiveness, and vulnerability to the film that perfectly illustrated the complicated relationships that defined both main characters' lives. Her performance as the older woman who clearly cares for Paul but treats him more like property than a partner helped audiences understand why he would be drawn to Holly Golightly's free spirit, while also showing the price that people pay when they choose financial security over genuine love. Born Patricia Louise Neal on January 21, 1926, in Packard, Kentucky. She grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, where she discovered her passion for acting while attending high school and later Northwestern University. After winning a Tony Award for her Broadway performance in Another Part of the Forest in 1947, she signed a contract with Warner Brothers and moved to Hollywood, where she quickly established herself as a serious dramatic actress capable of handling complex, challenging roles. Neal's career included memorable performances in films like The Day the Earth Stood Still, A Face in the Crowd, and her Academy Award-winning role in HUD, where she played a housekeeper who captures Paul Newman's character's heart. However, her life was marked by both professional triumph and personal tragedy, including a difficult affair with Gary Cooper, the heartbreak of losing a child, and a series of devastating strokes in 1965 that nearly ended her career and required years of painful rehabilitation to regain her ability to speak and act. On August 8, 2010, Patricia Neal died at her home in Edgartown, Massachusetts, at the age of 84 from lung cancer. Her death came after a long battle with various health problems, but she had continued to work occasionally and remained an inspiration to stroke survivors and their families through her advocacy work. Neal's courage in overcoming her medical challenges and returning to acting proved that true talent and determination can triumph over even the most devastating setbacks. Buddy Ebsen. Buddy Ebsen's appearance as Doc Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's provided one of the film's most emotionally powerful moments, playing the kind-hearted veterinarian from Texas who had briefly married Holly when she was just 14 years old and known by her real name, Lula Mae Barnes. His gentle, understanding portrayal of a man who still cared deeply for the troubled young woman she had become brought genuine warmth to the story and showed audiences a glimpse of Holly's mysterious past. Though his screen time was limited, Ebsen's performance was so memorable that it helped revive his career and led directly to his most famous television role. Born Christian Ludolf Ebsen Jr. on April 2, 1908, in Belleville, Illinois, he grew up in a family that valued both education and entertainment, with his father running a dance studio that would shape his future career. Ebsen moved to New York in the late 1920s with his sister Vilma, where they performed as a popular dance team in vaudeville and Broadway shows before making their way to Hollywood in the mid-1930s. His early film career included memorable roles in movies like Captain January with Shirley Temple and Broadway Melody of 1938, But he's perhaps most famous for what didn't happen when he was originally cast as the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz before an allergic reaction to the aluminum dust makeup nearly killed him and forced him to leave production. After years of smaller roles and occasional television appearances, his performance in Breakfast at Tiffany's opened the door to his greatest success as Jed Clampett in the Beverly Hillbillies from 1962 to 1971, followed by another hit series, Barnaby Jones, from 1973 to 1980. On July 6, 2003, Buddy Ebsen died peacefully at Torrance Memorial Medical Center in California at the remarkable age of 95, having lived long enough to see multiple generations discover his work. His career proved that talent and persistence can overcome setbacks and create lasting entertainment that brings joy to millions of people. Martin Balsam brought sharp wit and fast-talking energy to his role as O.J. Berman, Holly Golightly's Hollywood agent who clearly cared about her despite his business-first attitude in Breakfast at Tiffany's. His portrayal of the cigar-smoking talent agent who understood both Holly's potential and her problems added depth to the film's exploration of how people survive in the entertainment world. Balsam's natural ability to deliver rapid-fire dialogue while showing genuine concern beneath his character's tough exterior helped ground the movie's more whimsical moments with authentic human emotion. Born on November 4, 1919, in the Bronx, New York, to Russian Jewish immigrants, Martin Henry Balsam grew up during the Great Depression and developed his love for acting while attending DeWitt Clinton High School. After serving in the Pacific Theater during World War II, he used the GIIS 2.N bill to study at the Actors Studio under Lee Strasberg, where he learned the method acting techniques that would serve him throughout his career and helped him become one of the most reliable character actors of his generation. Balsam built an impressive resume in both film and television, appearing in classic movies like On the Waterfront, 12 Angry Men, and Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, where he played the unfortunate private investigator Milton Arbogast. His greatest achievement came when he won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in 1965 for his performance in A Thousand Clowns, beating out other notable nominees in a highly competitive year. He continued working steadily through the decades, appearing in major films like Catch-22, Murder on the Orient Express, and All the President's Men. On February 13, 1996, Martin Balsam died in Rome, Italy, at the age of 76 from a stroke while visiting the city. He had been staying there with friends and enjoying his retirement after a career that spanned over 180 film and television credits. His death marked the end of a remarkable journey from a working-class kid in the Bronx to one of Hollywood's most respected character actors. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney's portrayal of Mr. Yunioshi, Holly Golightly's upstairs neighbor in Breakfast at Tiffany's, became one of the most controversial aspects of the beloved film due to its use of racial stereotypes that are now widely recognized as offensive and inappropriate. Playing a Japanese photographer with exaggerated makeup and accent, Rooney's performance reflected the unfortunate attitudes of early 1960s Hollywood, and he later expressed regret about taking the role. Despite this misstep in an otherwise remarkable career, the performance serves as an important reminder of how far society has progressed in understanding and respecting different cultures. Born Joseph Yule Jr. on September 23, 1920, in Brooklyn, New York, Mickey Rooney began performing before he could even walk, appearing in his parents' vaudeville act when he was just 17 months old. His natural talent for singing, dancing, and comedy made him a star from childhood, and he became one of the biggest box office draws in America during the late 1930s and early 1940s when he played Andy Hardy in a series of hugely popular family films. Rooney's career achievements were extraordinary, spanning nearly 9 decades and including more than 300 film and television appearances. He starred alongside Judy Garland in several successful musicals, earned 4 Academy Award nominations, and received an honorary Oscar in 1983 for his lifetime contributions to entertainment. His versatility allowed him to excel in everything from comedy to drama, and he remained active well into his 90s, continuing to perform on stage and screen with the same energy that had made him famous as a child. On April 6, 2014, Mickey Rooney died peacefully in his sleep at his home in North Hollywood at the age of 93. His final years had been marked by financial struggles and family disputes, but he had continued working almost until the end of his life. Despite the controversies that surrounded some of his choices, Rooney's incredible longevity and dedication to entertainment made him one of the last links to Hollywood's golden age. John McGiver. John McGiver's memorable portrayal of the kindly Tiffany salesman in Breakfast at Tiffany's created one of the film's most charming and heartwarming moments, showing genuine respect and courtesy to Holly Golightly and Paul Varjak, despite their obvious lack of money to spend in the famous jewelry store. His gentle, dignified performance as the clerk who helps engrave Paul's Cracker Jack ring for $10 perfectly captured the spirit of customer service and human decency, making viewers believe that luxury and kindness could coexist in the world of high-end retail. Born John Irwin McGiver on November 5, 1913, in New York City to Irish immigrant parents, he initially pursued a career in education rather than entertainment, earning degrees from Fordham University, Columbia University, and Catholic University before becoming an English teacher in the New York City public school system. McGiver also served as an officer in the United States Army's 7th Armored Division during World War II, experiences that gave him the maturity and life perspective that would later inform his acting performances. McGiver didn't begin his full-time acting career until he was in his 40s, but he quickly became one of the most recognizable character actors on television and in films during the 1960s and 70s. His distinctive appearance, with his round face, precise diction, and naturally dignified manner, made him perfect for playing authority figures, businessmen, and professional types. He appeared in over 100 television shows and films, including memorable roles in The Manchurian Candidate, Midnight Cowboy, and the first American Express Do You Know Me commercial campaign. On September 9, 1975, John McGiver died suddenly of a heart attack at his home in West Fulton, New York, at the age of 61. He left behind his wife Ruth and their 10 children, having built a successful second career while maintaining his commitment to family life. His death came at the height of his popularity as a character actor, cutting short what could have been many more years of bringing warmth and humanity to supporting roles that enriched countless films and television shows. Dorothy Whitney. Dorothy Whitney's scene-stealing performance as Mag Wildwood, Holly Golightly's fashion model friend with a pronounced stutter and wild party girl lifestyle, brought both comedy and authenticity to Breakfast at Tiffany's in her brief but memorable appearances. Her portrayal of the ditzy but good-hearted model who crashes Holly's apartment and passes out on the floor perfectly captured the carefree spirit of early 1960s New York social life, while her natural comedic timing made every line she delivered genuinely funny rather than simply ridiculous. Born Dorothy Whitney on October 31, 1933, in New York City, she came from a prominent family with connections to both the legal and entertainment worlds, as her parents were husband and wife divorce attorneys who actually served as the inspiration for the classic film Adam's Rib starring Spencer Tracy and Audrey Hepburn. Her stepfather was the famous actor Raymond Massey, which gave her early exposure to the theater world and helped her understand the demands and rewards of a professional acting career. Whitney's film career was relatively brief, with only 2 major movie credits to her name, but she made the most of her opportunities by creating memorable characters that audiences would remember long after the credits rolled. Besides her role in Breakfast at Tiffany's, she also appeared in the 1955 film Oh, Rosalinda, and she was active in theater work, particularly with the prestigious Williamstown Theater Festival, where she performed in plays like Look Back in Anger alongside other accomplished stage actors. On January 25, 1977, Dorothy Whitney died in Reno, Nevada, at the young age of 43, though the specific circumstances of her death were not widely publicized. Her passing came during what should have been the prime years of her career, cutting short what might have developed into a more extensive body of work in film and television. Despite her limited filmography, Whitney's natural talent for comedy and her ability to bring life to supporting characters ensured that her performances would continue to entertain audiences for decades to come. Stanley Adams. Stanley Adams created a perfectly obnoxious and memorable character as Rusty Trawler, the baby-faced millionaire who represents everything shallow and ridiculous about wealthy New York society in Breakfast at Tiffany's. His portrayal of the man described as the 9th richest man in America under 50 brought both humor and social commentary to the film, showing how money without character creates people who are more pitiful than enviable. Adams' ability to make Rusty simultaneously annoying and harmless helped highlight Holly Golightly's complicated relationship with wealth and the men who possessed it. Born Stanley Abramowitz on April 7, 1915, in New York City, Adams began his entertainment career on the stage before transitioning to radio work, where he developed the vocal skills and comedic timing that would serve him well throughout his career. His early work in radio during the 1940s and 50s gave him experience with different character voices and quick dialogue delivery, talents that made him a natural fit for the fast-paced world of television that was just beginning to dominate American entertainment. While Adams appeared in numerous films including North by Northwest, Lilies of the Field, and Requiem for a Heavyweight, he achieved his greatest fame on television, where his distinctive face and voice made him a popular character actor throughout the 1960s and 70s. His most beloved performance came as Cyrano Jones, the Tribble-selling space trader in the classic Star Trek episode The Trouble with Tribbles, a role that made him a favorite among science fiction fans and showed his talent for playing lovably shady characters who caused chaos wherever they went. Stanley Adams died by suicide on April 27, 1977, at his home in Santa Monica, California, at the age of 62. He had been suffering from chronic back pain that had severely limited his ability to work and enjoy life, leading to the depression that ultimately overwhelmed him. His death was a tragic end to a career that had brought laughter and entertainment to millions of people through his memorable television and film performances. Elvia Allman. Elvia Allman's brief but memorable appearance as the stern librarian in Breakfast at Tiffany's showcased her talent for playing no-nonsense authority figures who could convey volumes with just a look or gesture. Though her screen time was limited, her portrayal of the disapproving library employee who clearly didn't appreciate Holly Golightly's unconventional behavior perfectly captured the clash between traditional social expectations and the free-spirited lifestyle that Holly represented. Allman's natural ability to project authority and disapproval made her an ideal choice for this type of supporting role. Born Elvia Beatrice Allman on September 19, 1904, in Enochville, North Carolina, she began her entertainment career in radio during the 1920s, working as a children's story reader and program arranger at KHJ in Los Angeles. Her distinctive voice and talent for character work made her a natural fit for radio comedy shows, where she often played multiple roles and developed the sharp comedic timing that would serve her throughout her career in radio, television, and films. Allman became best known to audiences as the voice of Clarabelle Cow in Disney cartoons from 1928 to 1942, and later for her regular appearances on television shows like The Beverly Hillbillies, where she played the busybody Elverna Bradshaw, and I Love Lucy, where her performance as the stern boss in the famous Candy Factory episode became one of television comedy's most memorable moments. Her talent for playing shrewish, domineering characters made her a favorite foil for comic stars like Lucille Ball, George Burns, and Jack Benny throughout the golden age of television. On March 6, 1992, Elvia Allman died in Santa Monica, California, at the age of 87, having worked consistently in entertainment for over 60 years. Her death marked the end of a remarkable career that spanned the entire development of American mass media, from early radio through the golden age of Hollywood and into modern television. Her ability to bring life and humor to even the smallest supporting roles made her an essential part of countless productions that continue to entertain audiences today.